So you can have crayons or markers, and you need a pencil for this project. So I'm going to just put these aside until I'm ready for them at the top of my desk, because I don't want things in the way of where I am creating. We're going to start by drawing a stick figure of what our action character is going to look like. So think about what you want your action figure to look like. What are they doing? Are they dancing? Are they kicking a ball? Are they jumping rope? Think about, what are they doing? Are they dabbing? All the different things. They could be a ballet dancer. They could be doing a cartwheel, which I think that sounds kind of fun. So I'm gonna try doing a cartwheel. So I'm gonna start with a stick figure, which I gotta figure out where in the cartwheel are they gonna be. So I think I'm gonna have my arm kind of here, coming down, and my stick figure coming up, and the legs in the air, and one arm over here, and the head coming out here. Now, I'm not sure if you can see that real well. I might want to make everything longer. So extend how long he is. I'm not sure if maybe I make my legs longer too. So does my body need to become longer? Think about that. And maybe I have one of my legs slightly bent. I don't know. Yeah, why not? So maybe this arm is going to be slightly bent too. So draw a light, so when you erase, everything will disappear. So I imagine this arm's going to come down there. So now the next step, and you want to draw this really light. I drew it in a little darker in hopes that you could see what I'm drawing. So the next step is we're going to go around the character. And just like Keith Haring, we're going to make sure that we kind of give our character, I don't know if that leg's long enough compared to this other one. So we're going to just do an outline, kind of like a bubble. If you were to do letters, it would be a similar concept. Now here, there's one of two ways you can do this. You can either make your head longer, or Keith would often do his head kind of like this, so he doesn't give a stick neck all the time. And then your bubble would extend from there. There we go. And then you'll go in and you can erase these pencil lines. So that's what's important, why you should draw light. I do it darker in hopes that you could see it. There we go. All right, get rid of this. And now, if he's doing a cartwheel, you can choose whatever activity you want your person to be doing. And if you decide maybe your leg needs to be longer, because look, my leg and my arm are about the same length, and I don't think legs and arms are the same length.
Going home. Emmett Shrum is going home.
So maybe I make that a little bit longer. So drawing light when you first start is important, otherwise you're going to see all. It's not perfect, but that's okay. I'm not going for perfection, guys. There we go. That'll work. I don't know. Maybe it should be bent a little bit. Maybe he's not quite straight yet. And I know he'd need to kick out. It feels kind of weird not having feet on him. So maybe I'm just going to give it a little bit of a bend. But I guess, nah, I don't know. See, you can mess around with it if you don't draw too dark. And I might choose a darker color when I go in there. So I'm just going to go back and, all right, that'll work. I think we get the idea. Maybe. And if I change my mind and I don't think that looks right, then I can rotate it and say, oh, look, he looks like he's kicking a ball. Or look, now it looks like he's ice skating. So depending on which way you're looking at it, might depend on what they're doing. Like here, it looks like he could have been a soccer player kicking that ball upside down. So back to my cartwheel. So now I need a background. So we've got our person, our athlete, our character. And so I need them to be doing a cartwheel and something. So I'm just going to give them a line. Now notice I didn't put my line right under the hand. I put my line back and I jumped just like we did with our line drawings last week. I jumped over that arm and imagined where it would go. So we're carrying over what we learned last week. So I've got this horizon line back here. So it's kind of a landscape. We're not going to be quite as dimensional with, you know, the background, middle ground, foreground, but we definitely have a foreground or the land and the background in the sky. So you could decide if you want, you know, something like, oh, I don't know, you could have, you know, little bits of grass if you wanted, but I wouldn't color those in with your pencil. I would wait and do those details with crayon. So do those kind of details. So we've got our basic composition down. We know I've got a cartwheeler. You might decide once you get yours drawn that you want to rotate it and see what else could they be doing. Do you want them to do something else? And that might mean, you know, if I chose it here, would my horizon line be here? If I were gonna have him kicking something? No, I'd probably put it here. So that means my paper would be vertical and not horizontal. Or if I chose, you know, my skater, I could put it here and make it look like it's ice. And the more I say that, the more I really like that idea. So the same with, you know, if it were a soccer player, you know, doing some crazy kick, you could draw the net. All right, back to my cartwheel. So my cartwheel, you know, I could make them on a playground. I could put something in the background, maybe a tree or something, but I'm just going to start simple. So now we are at the step of coloring. So this is a really simple project, but here's what I want you to do is take your time and think about bright colors that contrast. You can use crayons or markers. I want you to pick one or the other. So you want to have a real bold color, whichever one you choose. Make sure that you are giving yourself good contrast. So I don't want you to do, you know, a green body and a green landscape down here. So your foreground shouldn't be green if your guy is green. It's okay if you don't color things, you know, if you want your background to be red, it doesn't have to be a sky. It could be, you know, I just want you to use different colors that are going to pop against each other. So I kind of like this bright color right here. I wish I had some teal. Oh, maybe that'll be close to teal. I like that one. And I think orange would be another color that'll really pop. And I think I'm going to go with red orange. So I've got my three colors that I'm going to use. And I'm going to draw my character. I think let's see, I've got red, violet, and I'm going to do my black background, blue, green. Maybe I want to go more traditional, and I don't know if I want yellow green. If I had avocado green or lime green, maybe I'll do that. Or maybe I'll mix these two. I don't know. I might change my mind when I get there, but I'm just going to start by coloring my background. And my person. So I was going to do my person first. So I'm going to outline my person first. Notice I'm going in the same direction and I'm making sure my color is consistent. I'm not scribbling all over the place. So going in the same direction as your line will help. Now when I go this way, I'm gonna go in the same direction as this angle. If you need to turn your paper, feel free to turn your paper. Oop, my crayons are rolling. Turn your paper, outline that area so you know what line to stay in. And then making sure I follow the direction of the leg. And then making sure I have a good solid saturation of my colors. That means I'm not leaving any white spots. Making sure that everything is good and solid. Keith Haring really used bold colors and everything was solid. I'm gonna round out that edge. I kind of had a hard pencil edge there, but there we go. And again, just following the direction of my line. So this is my main line here. Now when we get to this spot later, we're gonna come back with black and go over it to make it pop. Markers might be a little easier to go marker over marker as opposed to marker over crayon, but we'll find out. I might have to use a black crayon. I might use a test piece of paper to see if that'll work before I try it on my final project. I like to try things out in my sketchbook. I'm going to turn this because it's easier to color that direction. I'm going to round that out with my crayon so I know where to stop, and I'm going to curve around the edges. There we go. Got my personal. Now I'm going to take this and go off to the side so I don't end up with crayon shavings all over. If this were oil pastel, we would definitely not want to rub it, because what would happen? It would rub right across our paper. So I'm done with my red violet. No longer looks brand new, and that's okay. I like used crayons. So let's see. I'm going to color my background next. So again, with our backgrounds, let's not go scribbly scrabbly all over the place and just like, you know, do this. I want you to start in a corner, and as you're in the corner, pick one direction and give a good saturation. Now, if you wanted to do something interesting and use a couple different blues, you could do that, but you just want to make sure you have a good saturation of the color so that you are making it solid. Notice I'm not like doing this. I'm not leaving lots of blue. I'm coloring one area. I'm staying focused. Do this too, so you'll color your entire background blue. Might help if you give yourself a line so when you're coloring you don't mess up and color beyond your horizon line. Now when you're at the edges, it's okay to go up and down and then take it to the angle if you were going at an angle. I like my lines on an angle instead of just up and down. I think it's easier to do longer strokes. If you have all really short strokes, one, it takes longer, and two, there's just a lot more separation. So I try and make my lines a little bit longer. When I get down to the bottom, I'm going to go along the line to give myself a little bit deeper of a border. So when I'm doing those angle lines, and you can turn your paper if that's easier, maybe give yourself a thicker border down here, and again around your character. Drawing those lines. Notice how these two colors pop against each other. I love that. Good contrast. So I'm going to create this border all the way around. one here. I'm going to rotate again because it's easiest for me to do my lines this way. And then I can go back to that angle that I want most of my paper to be at. And I've got a good solid saturation of the blue. And if I have spots where they're kind of lighter, I'm going to go up over there.
Paula, what time is it? The time is 4:26. 4:26. Okay, thank you.
So I want you to continue to work on your background, making it real good and solid. And we're going to watch a video.
Let me know when it's 4:40. I forgot my watch today.
About Keith Haring and a
Sure will.
story.
Yeah.
Notice I move my paper, not the direction my hand goes. My angles on my paper are always the same. Just like when we're cutting, our hand pretty much always colors in the same direction. I just move my paper to get those spots, and I'm making it all in the same direction. Now we're going to outline our contour lines. So I've got our basic shape of our athlete. We've got our foreground and our background. I want to give him some action, and I want to accentuate our shape. So we're going to really try and make it pop. Oh, and this one is not working. Let me get a new marker. So I think if you have a Crayola marker, you can use that, or your whatever markers in your art kit. If you have a Sharpie, you can use that. So that's Crayola kind of comes through. Let's try this one. So a Sharpie works a little bit better. We're going to go around the outline. And I'm going to imagine where there's like a fold. So I'm going to make that a little bit longer because there's a bend there. And then around his head, I'm going to come down. just a little bit into his body. And there goes his leg. Remember to move the direction of your paper. Sometimes that's easier than trying to move your hand. So I've got my character outlined. Now I want to give him some movement. If I feel like he's doing the cartwheel this way, so he's going this way, I'm going to give him just some little lines that are going to show movement. So we know that this guy is moving. So then from there, you could add other things if you wanted. If you wanted to put in a simple swing set or a ball for your soccer player, a basketball hoop if you have a basketball player. Simple is better. If you remember looking at Keith Haring's work, he uses a lot of color. I might want to outline down here. I don't really want to go over my grass too much. That green is kind of hard to see, isn't it? So you might even outline if you made grass. He uses a lot of the black lines to show that contrast. And if you don't like the way it looks one way,
it's 440.
try it another way. And so no, I like it better when they're connected up top.
Rachel, it's 440. Did you hear me?
Can you turn that down or off?
How do you turn it off?
Yes, sorry. No worries.
And I really like the way it's looking now that I've added the black to my grass. I think that helps balance it and make it pop. Before, the grass just kind of looked like it was just there, but now it really allows balance with the black around, oh, it looks like a hand. The black around my character. And I'm just using little zigzaggy lines. Nothing perfect. But we have a different value of green, so that helps it pop. Because that one is darker than the actual large part of our grass. And I could even do something like, if I wanted clouds, I could draw those in even now with my black. Be careful you don't spread that Sharpie if it hasn't dried on your grass yet, or whatever you have down below. Maybe I'll do another one behind this cloud. Just to give a little space. Maybe he's coming out this end. It's a really cloudy sky on that side. All right, now I'm going to take my white, see if I can lighten up this blue area. It doesn't want to lighten too much. I guess if I really go at it, it's lightening up a little bit. Enough where I can tell. You could have birds in your sky. Keep it simple, but have fun with it. Make it your own. And that's our Keith Haring inspired action characters. Keep working. The more you work that white into the blue, not totally different, but it's definitely different a little bit. Some of that black is getting pulled in, kind of giving it a gray effect. Noticing the clouds are doing circles and swirls. All right. One last thing we can do that's always a lot of fun after we put all of our materials away. Mrs. Kelp can come give you, after I see everything is put away, in your box, and sign your name at the bottom, small. Don't write it across the big. Don't ruin your composition by plastering your name. Put your name small at the bottom, like I did. Put everything away, and then I will get you a tissue. Let's see if this doesn't ruin it. I hope it doesn't smear my Sharpie. Let's see, is it gonna? You gotta wait till your Sharpie is good and dry. You don't wanna do this with wet Sharpie, or else you might end up smearing your Sharpie into all your pretty colors. So I'll bring you a paper towel, and you can make your artwork shine. Whoop, careful not to do that. You wanna hold it real good. And if you get towards the edge, push away. Try and do one color at a time, because if you blend in here, it might blend the colors, which might be kind of cool, but so hold that paper towel. You can go in circles. You just want to hold your paper real good. Just make, oops, yeah, it's bleeding down there. That's no good. So maybe push up away from that. Or we could do this before. That's the trick. We'll shine our papers maybe before we put the Sharpie on. So still get your supplies all put away. Mrs. Kelp will give you a tissue. And then do your marker very last. See? It's always good to learn from others' mistakes. And it's an experiment in art. So we know now, but that kind of wipes off okay. Just gonna shine up those little areas. All right. Now it's super shiny. That's so cool. I love it when they shine. All right, we have our Keith Haring inspired action figures. All right, guys, time to create. Oh, I guess we're getting a note from the art elf. What is this? Interesting. To Mrs. Kelp from the art elf. Oh, now I've got two notes. Can I help or do recordings? Oh, thanks for watching. See you next time. The art elf. Oh, wow. Thanks, art elf.